Ever wondered what actually goes into booking a hotel room?
Right.
Or maybe what surprising details might pop up when you check in? Today, we're doing a deep dive into the world of hotel stays. We're going to unravel the ins and outs of reservations, check-ins, and, well, all those little bits of knowledge that can make a stay really seamless.
Yeah, and we've really dug into it. We've looked at real hotel interactions, actual conversations. We've done virtual tours, even language lessons focused on hotels. Our sources cover everything from London and New York to places like Canada and the Philippines. So you'll hear about specific scenarios and pick up some practical vocabulary too.
Okay, so our mission today is basically to arm you with the essential info you need. We
Yeah.
want you to have a smooth, stress-free, maybe even an insightful hotel experience next time. We'll hit everything from booking that perfect room, figuring out the pricing, navigating check-in, making the most of amenities, and hopefully share some surprising facts and those aha moments along the way. So what does this all mean for your next trip? How can you use this stuff? All right, let's start at the beginning then. That first call, to book a room, it seems like it's often way more detailed than just asking, got a room? Right. Oh, absolutely. That initial call is it's a detailed exchange. You've got to specify the exact dates, how long you're staying. It could be, say, Friday to Sunday, May 13th to 15th, like in one source, or maybe a full week, like Saturday, Juneteenth to the 17th for that Big Apple Hotel example. And obviously, how many people, how many rooms. That changes everything. Are you looking for a single room just for one person, like Mark Lewis? Or maybe a room for a couple, like Ben Abraham needed? That basic info sets the stage. And the room types, beyond just single or double, what did the deep dive show about all those different labels they use?
Right, so you have the basics. Single room, one person, one bed. Double room, usually for two people with one large bed. And a twin room, that's two people, but with two separate single beds. But then you see terms like deluxe, suite, often for couples, cabana, villa, even penthouse.
Mhm.
What we saw, like at the Shining Hotel source, is these aren't just names. They signal real differences. More space, better amenities, maybe special services. You're paying for, as they put it, more facility, convenience, and services. And you can state preferences too. Smoking or non-smoking is a big one. Bed size, maybe you want a queen size. And the view. People ask for specific views all the time. City skyline, Central Park, maybe overlooking a square with a balcony, or even Towel Lake. And here's a neat finding. Sometimes, like at the Big Apple Hotel, asking for that Central Park view, it didn't actually cost extra.
Oh, really? That's a great tip. Just ask.
Exactly. It might just be a free upgrade to your whole experience if you know to ask for it.
Okay, fantastic. So you've picked the room, maybe even snagged a good view. Now, the money talk. What do the sources show about pricing and what's actually included?
Well, prices are all over the place. We saw examples like $535 to $550 a night for a deluxe room at the Shining Hotel. Then there was a Signy source quoting 6,405 pesos a night. And Mark Lewis got a special weekly rate of $1,100 at the Big Apple Hotel. So it varies massively. The key term they always use is rate. Weekly rate, group rate, family rate. It's always the rate.
Right, the rate. But what about those extras, taxes, service charges? Are they usually part of that rate, or is that where you can get caught out?
That's a crucial point. And it varies. The Shining Hotel's price, for instance, didn't include VAT or a 7% service charge. But then the Big Apple Hotel specifically said their price included breakfast and all taxes with no hidden charges.
Quite a difference.
Big difference. So the takeaway is always ask. Always confirm what's included in that quoted rate so there are no nasty surprises on your bill. Typical things that are often included: breakfast is common. Could be a big buffet like at The Shining, or just included like a Big Apple. Bob's Hotel gave it free to repeat guests. Wi-Fi is pretty standard now. We saw that everywhere. Airport shuttles sometimes, like the two-way service at Shining. And using hotel facilities, the pool, the gym, those are usually part of the deal.
Okay, and what's usually not included? The stuff that adds up quick.
Yeah, the usual suspects. The mini bar is almost always extra. Room service, too. The Shining Hotel source mentioned finding a menu in the room with prices for those things. So, yeah, watch out for the mini bar unless you plan to indulge.
Good advice. Okay, room chosen, price understood, inclusions checked. What's the final step? How do you actually lock in that reservation?
Right. To make it official, they'll need your details. Your full name, and they often ask you to spell it out like Benabraham, your phone number, email address. Standard stuff. Then the credit card. They need the type, number, cardholder name to hold the room. Payment policies differ, though. For phone bookings, the Big Apple Hotel asked for the first night paid in advance. The remaining balance, they called it, would be settled at the end of the stay.
Settled. Sounds very formal.
It does, doesn't it? It just means paid. It's just their professional way of putting it. You hear the passive voice a lot too, like can be settled. It sounds a bit less direct. And then finally, you should get a confirmation email with everything laid out. Definitely check that email carefully.
Okay, let's jump ahead. You've traveled, you've arrived, you're dragging your luggage into the lobby. What happens at the front desk? What should you have handy?
All right, check-in time. First, they need to find your booking. So give them your name, Ben Abraham, Tom Sanders, whoever you are. You'll definitely need photo ID. A driver's license usually works fine. And that credit card again. Even if you prepaid part of it, they often need it for incidentals or security. Then there are some formalities. You'll likely sign a registration card. Sometimes you have to initial next to specific policies like the smoking policy. They might ask your email again, and if you drove, your vehicle license plate for parking records. It actually feels like quite a bit of info when you list it out.
Yeah. What about timing? Check-in times seem pretty fixed, but can you ever get in early?
Well, the standard times vary a bit. We saw check-in after 2 p.m. at the Shining Hotel, but after 4 p.m. at the Big Apple. Another source said 2 p.m. Checkout is usually around noon, like before 12 p.m. But hotels are often pretty good about early check-in if you ask nicely, especially if the room's ready. The Shining Hotel source said they could manage an 11 a.m. arrival. Big Apple said for a 2 p.m. arrival, they'd try to clean the room first. Sometimes there's no extra charge.
That's good to know, that flexibility. But I remember reading about a specific policy. Something about 6 o'clock.
Ah, yes, the 6 o'clock policy. That came from the Sydney VB source. And it's really important. Basically, if you haven't checked in by 6 p.m. and you haven't called, the hotel might have the right to give your room away to someone on the wait list.
Wow, okay, so if you're running late.
Call them. It's not just polite. It could literally save your reservation, especially if they're busy. Proactive communication is key there. It also pays to see how they handle problems. Remember Tom Sanders? His reservation wasn't in the system at the Transnational Hotel, but they sorted it out and gave him a complimentary upgrade to a business suite with a jacuzzi.
Nice. So a problem can sometimes turn into a pleasant surprise.
Exactly. It shows how good customer service can really turn a situation around.
Okay, so you've done the paperwork, got your room number. How do you actually get there? That's not old-fashioned keys anymore, is it?
Nope. Almost always key cards now. And a funny little thing you learn quickly is sometimes inserting them too fast doesn't work. You gotta find the right speed.
Huh, yes, I've had that happen.
Yeah. The front desk will give you directions like, take the elevator on the left to the 4th floor, turn right, it's the 3rd door down. Room 413 or 653, whatever it is. They're usually very specific. Sometimes there are arrows in the hallway too. And your luggage.
Yeah.
Don't worry about hauling it yourself unless you want to. A bellboy usually shows up with it shortly after you get settled in the room.
All right, key card works. You swing the door open. What greets you? What's the typical hotel room like these days? You're home away from home.
Okay, stepping inside. You'll often find, especially in Canadian hotels apparently, setups like 2 queen-sized beds. For actually living in the room, there's usually a desk and chair. A TV, naturally. Often a microwave, a small coffee maker, essential for many people.
Definitely essential.
A small refrigerator, too. Maybe a dresser, although, let's be honest, a lot of us just live out of our suitcases, right?
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, me too. Safety-wise, look on the back of the door. There's always emergency evacuation info. You'll find a mirror, a closet, sometimes thoughtful things like earplugs, especially if you're near a busy street or noisy neighbors, an alarm clock, and a phone that's usually for room service or calling the desk.
And the bathroom or washroom. What are the standard features there?
The bathroom basics are pretty consistent. You'll find Kleenex, some cups or glasses, maybe an ice bucket, shampoo, conditioner, soap. Then the fixtures. Faucet and sink, toilet paper holder, hopefully stocked, a garbage can. Towels, usually bath towels, hand towels, face cloths, the toilet itself, and typically a shower tub combination.
We talked about views when booking. Does it still feel important once you're actually in the room?
Oh, absolutely. For some people, that view is a huge part of the experience. Looking out over the Kitchener skyline or Central Park or that Tala Lake view we mentioned, it can make the room feel special. And if you get hungry in that room with the view, that phone connects you to room service. You order food from the hotel restaurant, and there's usually a menu right there. Just for context, that standard Canadian room example, the source mentioned it cost around $120 Canadian per night. Gives you a ballpark idea.
Okay, so beyond the room itself, what about exploring the rest of the hotel? What facilities do they usually offer?
Hotels often have quite a few amenities to, enhance the stay. Fitness rooms are common with treadmills, maybe some weights. Pools, too, indoor or outdoor. Just check the signs. Sometimes they're shallow and have no diving rules. Breakfast areas are a big one. Sometimes it's included, sometimes extra, like that 10.95 example from Bob's Hotel.
And the food itself, it's
Yeah.
usually on offer.
Ooh, quite a spread usually. Hot water for tea, coffee machines, fruit oatmeal, hot items like scrambled eggs, maybe a frittata, potato patties or hash browns, condiments, ham, sausage, cheese slices, milk, juice, cereals, and baked goods, toast, muffins, pastries, often with a toaster available.
Makes me hungry just hearing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for other conveniences, you often find vending machines for snacks and drinks, and maybe a bank machine, an ATM, somewhere in the lobby for cash.
And what if you want to venture outside the hotel? How helpful are they in guiding you around a new city?
They're usually pretty good at that, like having a mini tourist info center right there. They often provide booklets or city guides for guests. They can give recommendations too, like, oh, you should check out the Buckingham Palace Garden, which might even be free sometimes. Or the Tower of London, fascinating place, over 900 years old. One London hotel was apparently just a 10-minute walk from the Sherlock Holmes house.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and for getting around, they'll easily call a cab for you or give you walking directions if something's close by. They generally want you to have a good experience exploring.
Wow. We've really covered a lot, haven't we? From that very first phone call all the way through check-in, exploring the room, the amenities. It's amazing how much detail goes into something we often take for granted, like a hotel stay. Knowing this stuff really changes how you approach it.
It really does. Understanding these steps, the lingo, the common policies, what's usually included or not, it just makes the whole process smoother, less stressful, more enjoyable. Knowing these details really puts you, the traveler, in a much better position. You feel more in control.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, what specific detail or maybe hotel policy from this deep dive will you be looking out for on your next trip? And how might that little piece of knowledge change your stay from just being, good to being truly great?